the sleepy town of Easton, Connecticut, lies one of the most haunted cemeteries in America, Union Cemetery. Beneath its weathered tombstones and creeping vines, something stirs, something beyond the veil of death. This is the chilling true account of the Union Cemetery case, as investigated by famed demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren. The road winds like a serpent through Easton, Connecticut, a town of secrets, where whispers cling to the fog and the dead do not rest easily. Tucked behind wrought iron gates and weathered stone lies Union Cemetery. Some say the name is a cruel irony, because whatever is buried there, it is anything but at peace. For over a century, a single figure has haunted its grounds. They call her the White Lady. She appears on moonless nights, tall, draped in glowing white, her face veiled by shadow. She'd been seen gliding between gravestones, standing in the middle of the road, staring into windows, and sometimes she follows people home. The earliest reports date back to the 1940s. A gravedigger claimed to see a woman kneeling at her child's grave after midnight. When he approached, she vanished, leaving behind a single white rose on the tombstone. The ground was undisturbed. The grave had no flowers the day before. One eyewitness described this figure as follows: "She didn't walk, she floated. Like her feet weren't even touching the ground. I thought she was a trick of the headlights, until she turned and looked right at me. Her eyes, they weren't just sad, they were hollow." Some believe she was a mourning mother, struck by a carriage and buried in secret. Others say she was a scorned bride left at the altar, who drowned herself in the nearby pond. But the truth is murky, because there is no known record of a woman matching her description being buried at Union Cemetery. Still, the sightings continued. Over 50 independent reports in the past century. Different names, different faces, but always the same story. A woman in white, always appearing just before an accident or a death. By the 1970s, her reputation had spread beyond Easton. Paranormal researchers began to take notice, but few dared investigate at night. Those who did often came back, changed. The cemetery itself predates the American Revolution. There's a layered energy there. Native burial grounds, unmarked graves, tragedy upon tragedy stacked like stones. It's a perfect storm for a spiritual echo, or something much darker. That's where Ed and Lorraine Warren come in. Known for their investigations of Amityville, Annabelle, and the Perron family haunting, the Warrens believed Union Cemetery to be one of the most active sites of supernatural energy in the Northeast. But what disturbed them most wasn't the frequency of the sightings, it was the intent behind them. By 1990, Ed and Lorraine Warren had been investigating hauntings for over 3 decades. But something about Union Cemetery chilled even Ed to the bone. He said it wasn't just haunted, it was watched, as if the spirits knew when someone entered, and they decided whether or not to be seen. So Ed decided to challenge that silence, not with bravado, but with patience. He would spend the night inside the cemetery, alone.
This is Ed Warren. August 23rd, 1990, 11:57 p.m. I'm set up just east of the exorcism tree. I've placed 3 motion-sensitive cameras and 1 infrared recorder. Lorraine is not with me tonight. The energy here is sharp, like a storm in your teeth.
That night, the sky was ink black. No moon, no stars. The kind of night where shadows seem to lean toward you. Ed sat on a folding chair between headstones, flashlight off, camera rolling. The cemetery was deathly quiet until just past 2 a.m. The sensor light blinked once, then again, a third time, and then something moved.
The air just changed. It dropped 10 degrees in under a minute. I'm hearing movement, slow, deliberate. It's not wind. There's a mist forming by the far oak about 5 feet high, and it's taking shape.
Through the lens of the infrared camera, Ed saw a figure. It had the outline of a woman, flowing and white, but blurred at the edges, like it was underwater. Her face was wrong, too long, too still, a frozen mask of grief and hate. She floated across the path and stopped, just 20 feet from him.
I asked her what she wanted. I expected nothing, but I swear I heard it in the back of my mind, like a whisper behind my thoughts.
He left me. He burned me. I'm still cold.
Then, just as fast as she appeared, she was gone. The mist dissipated. The motion light cut out, but the temperature never rose. Ed sat frozen, gripping his crucifix, heart pounding. The camera had captured everything, or so he thought. When he reviewed the footage, what he saw was not just the apparition, but a shape standing behind him, staring directly into the lens. Eyes white as snow, lips moving with no sound, and when the film ran out, the screen went black for 8 seconds. 8 seconds of nothing. Yet when Ed listened to the audio during that blackout, he heard something impossible. A woman crying and soil being dug. Toward the far northern edge of Union Cemetery stands a solitary tree, blackened, twisted, and dead for over a century. It rises from the soil like a bone finger scraping at the sky. Locals call it the exorcism tree. No birds perch on it. No grass grows near it. Even on sunny days, that patch of ground stays cold, unblessed. According to colonial records, sparse and half erased, a woman accused of witchcraft was hanged there in the 1700s. Her name was never preserved. Her grave never marked. Some say she cursed the land with her final breath. Lorraine Warren said that this woman died crying, not because she was guilty, but because no one believed her. That grief stayed here. It soaked into the ground. Lorraine Warren, clairvoyant, medium, and Ed's wife, visited the tree in October of 1991. She never stayed long. The air there, she said, felt inhospitable. But this time, something was different. Ed Warren wrote in his journal.
Lorraine touched the base of the tree. Her whole body went rigid. She whispered something. I couldn't make it out. Then she collapsed. No pulse for 6 seconds. Her skin went ice white. I thought I'd lost her.
When Lorraine awoke, she spoke of things she had never seen, things she felt. A black shape, not human, with long limbs like branches and a face like crumpled cloth. It had no eyes, yet she felt it watching. She said it was older than the cemetery, older than the church. It didn't belong to the White Lady's story. It fed off it. That night, Ed performed a cleansing ritual beneath the tree. He read from the Roman ritual, sprinkled holy water in a wide circle, and buried 3 relics: a St. Benedict medal, a crucifix, and a piece of the true cross. But halfway through the rite, the wind died completely. Even the crickets fell silent. Then a sound rose from the base of the tree, like tearing cloth or flesh. The air shimmered. The candles around the circle snuffed out all at once, and in the silence, Ed heard it. Not in his ears, but in his mind.
She is not yours. She is not free. She feeds me.
Ed did not finish the ritual. Something stopped him, not out of fear, but because Lorraine cried out, begging him not to. "You'll wake it," she said. "You'll give it form." They left the cemetery in silence that night, and when they returned 3 days later, the relics were gone, dug up. The earth had split open where they had been buried, and in their place, a single old-fashioned wedding veil, dirt-stained, torn, wet. They say the White Lady only appears before tragedy, like a spectral warning. But by the winter of 1992, the pattern had changed. Now, she wasn't warning, she was choosing. It happened at 3:17 a.m. on December 9th. A young man named David Harmon was driving alone down Route 59, the road that borders Union Cemetery. He'd just finished the night shift at a gas station, tired, half awake. He didn't see the figure in the road until it was too late. The impact was deafening. David's windshield exploded inwards. His car swerved into a ditch and rolled once. When paramedics arrived, they found him conscious but hysterical. He kept screaming, "I didn't kill her. I didn't kill her. She wasn't there." Then she was inside the car. The police searched the area for hours. There was no blood, no body, but they found a woman's footprint burned into the hood of the car, bare, elongated, wet with morning dew, and facing the driver. Lorraine Warren reached out to the Harmon family privately. She never made her findings public, but in her final notes she wrote, "The White Lady no longer appears to be tethered to the cemetery grounds. The energy she emits is widening, or perhaps she's being let out." That's when the dreams began. Dozens of people, from Easton to neighboring towns, began reporting identical nightmares. A woman in white standing at the foot of their bed, her veil dripping, her mouth open, but no sound coming out. Some woke up to the smell of roses. Others found mud on their floors. One woman woke screaming, convinced someone had climbed into bed beside her, and whispered, "You left me behind." Ed Warren called it a spiritual contagion, not demonic, not yet, but growing. In his final attempt to contain the haunting, Ed returned to Union Cemetery on Christmas Eve, alone. The cemetery was quiet under a blanket of snow. Ed brought nothing but his crucifix, a single blessed candle, and the same recorder he'd used the first time. He sat by the exorcism tree and waited.
It's 11:41 p.m. The temperature is 21 degrees. I can see my breath. I've asked God for protection tonight. I feel watched. She's here.
What the tape captured next has never been publicly released, But Lorraine later transcribed it. A woman's voice, layered and glitching, spoke just 3 words.
You came back.
The candle went out. The recorder stopped. When Ed returned home the next morning, he was pale, trembling, and refused to speak of what he saw. Only once did he break his silence, whispering to Lorraine before sleep,
She's not lost. She was buried, and now she remembers.
Union Cemetery remains closed after sundown. The gates are rusted but chained tight. A sign reads, "No trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted." But it's not the police who keep people away. It's the stories. Stories of figures in windows, roses left on doorsteps, cold hands pressing on chests while people sleep, and always, always the same face, veiled, expressionless, white. Lorraine Warren called her a residual energy loop. Ed disagreed. He believed she chose when to appear and to whom, that she had become something more than a ghost, something deliberate. And what if? He was right. What if she no longer waits at Union Cemetery? What if she's standing in places with no cameras, where prayers go unanswered? What if she doesn't want justice? What if she wants company? Tonight, when the lights go out, listen closely. If you hear footsteps where there should be none, if you feel a drop in the air, or wake to the smell of old roses, don't call out, don't turn on the light, don't go to the window, because once you see her, she sees you too. And once she sees you, she remembers where you sleep. If you think this story is over, think again. Darkness doesn't end, it waits, and the next one might be closer than you think. Subscribe before it finds you first.